Hey, how's it going? It's Seb Brantigan. I'm here with Phil Faulkner. We want to welcome you to this webinar tonight. We're super excited to have you here and share with you exactly the 5 steps that you need to understand in order to make 5 figures and above in any business, whether you're a network marketer, whether you're a coach, whether you have a traditional business. It doesn't matter what niche and what industry you're in. What you're going to learn tonight is going to be some powerful breakthrough concepts that you can apply immediately in order to see a change in your results. So Phil, welcome to the call. Appreciate having you on as well.
Thank you, Seb. I'm super excited. Always glad to be sharing the stage, even if it's just on a webinar with you tonight. So thanks for having me here with you.
Awesome stuff, awesome stuff. So what I'm actually going to do is to jump straight into the presentation, which has all the information in. So if you're not in a quiet space where you can be, concentrating, then go ahead and do that. Switch off your phone, turn off Skype, take your phone and just throw it on the bed, throw it in another room or something, because you're going to need to really knuckle down and understand these concepts that we will share with you tonight. So I'm just going to quickly share my screen and talk a little bit about who we are before we get into the main presentation.
Awesome.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yep, it's there, my man.
Just like that. Awesome stuff. All right. So, as promised, tonight we're going to share with you the 5 steps every network marketer or coach needs to know in order to generate over 5 figures a month without rejection, without cold calling or any old school methods that maybe you've been taught how to do. Well, we're all about building a business with freedom and living the lifestyle that most people dream of. We want to live that laptop lifestyle where we're able to work from any location and live our passions and travel the world. So before I talk about who I am, Phil, why don't you just tell everyone on the webinar just a little bit about who you are, your background, some of the things that you've achieved and, really what people can expect on the webinar tonight.
No problem at all, Seb. So firstly, guys, again, thank you for joining us on this webinar tonight. It's something I'm really passionate about, sharing the specific strategies that myself, Seb, and, some of the top income earners in the industry are using to generate 5 figures a month and plus, because it wasn't always the case for me and Seb being in the position where we am now and getting the results. I'm a top UK sales and performance coach, specifically working with network marketers, coaches, consultants and trainers in the industry. But before I was in this position, for myself, it was only like 6+ years ago I was working in McDonald's. Obviously it wasn't where I wanted to be personally. Anything I was applying for, any job, anything looked better than the situation I was in. I've always had bigger goals than where I found myself there. So I just decided to apply for any job. I saw a commission only direct sales job, which was going business to business, selling credit and debit card machines and also business banking. And I thought, what, let me go for it. Everybody told me it was a bad idea. What if you make no money? What if this? What if that? And I just said, what? I have to make this work because I can't stay in McDonald's any longer. For me personally, it was way down there on my values list. So I took this job. It was a huge risk, but I believed in myself. I believed in my ability. And to be fair, I learned more in that position than I ever learned in my life, because in my opinion, your ability to persuade and influence another person, being able to share your concepts, your ideas, your thoughts to another person is more important than any other skill on this planet. If you can't do that, you are being sold to. People are sharing their opinions, their beliefs to you, and then you end up having life happen to you rather than you happening to life. Fast forward a few years later, I got introduced to the network marketing industry in 2013. And I'll be honest, by the time when I found that industry, I really was falling out of love with sales. I was working for somebody else. I was really not enjoying my position at the time, and I was blaming everybody else. And if it wasn't for my friend at the time introducing, network marketing to me, and really lighting that fire back up inside me, because I knew again this could be the ticket for me to make it to the next level. Within 18 months, I built a business that was generating over 500,000 in turnover. We had like almost 1,000 distributors around the UK. Went over to Vegas, got a chance to be on stage in front of 10,000 people, in Austria in front of 5,000 people, just getting recognized for all the things that we did. And it was an amazing time. But unfortunately, the company that was with at the time had a few hiccups, and everybody's income stopped, and I was at a dead stop, back where I didn't want to be again, and I couldn't believe it. So at that point, I thought, you know what, I've got skills, I've got passion, I love helping others. Why not start my own coaching and consulting business? And 18 months later from that point, we're here today, and we're generating over 5 figures a month, coaching, training, helping people use the same strategies we used to build our businesses, and continue to do that. And now I'm working alongside you, Seb, which is amazing, because you've got a lot of value, especially in the online internet marketing space, the results that you've got, putting that again with all the sales experience, the influencer experience, the leadership experience that I've got. We're here, ready to change the world. So that's a bit about me. So thanks, Seb. Thanks for having me with you on this webinar, and I'm just ready to get fired up. What about yourself, my man?
Love it, Phil. Absolutely love it. I love hearing where you come from and where you're now. So that's super inspiring, actually. Super inspiring. And it's cool, actually. I just got back from Vegas. I was there last week for about 5 or 6 nights. So the fact that you're able to go there and speak on stage in front of so many people, and not many people are in that position really, where they speak on stage and they are asked by sales companies to help them with their sales. And like you said, it's all stepping stones, and that's not something that happens overnight, but it really is something that's possible for someone who's willing to hustle consistently like you have. So really cool to hear your story time and time again. It's I know a lot of people can really relate to where you've been and where you're going. So we're definitely on a journey together to help a lot of people understand what it really takes to get results in network marketing, and maybe some of the we want to root out some of the lies that maybe someone's told you to what you need to be successful, which actually aren't true. And so we want to just share the honest truth with you and just share what's worked for us. So does that sound like a plan, Phil?
It sounds like a plan. These 5 steps, these 5 things that we're going to be sharing with you today, is all you need to do a bit of these every single day and just watch your business change. So let's get going, Seb.
Absolutely. Just jump right into it. So just quickly about me. So I'm 23 years old. I currently live in Ipswich in Suffolk, United Kingdom. I've actually lived in Ipswich all my life. And my story is I went from eating beans on toast for dinner. That's basically where I was when I started with online marketing. I was very frustrated at my job. I wasn't getting paid very well. I was working like 10, 11 hours a day, commuting an hour, 2 hour day for just above minimum wage, and I was really struggling financially. So I was just looking for ways to make money online. I just wanted to make enough initially just to cover my bills and have a bit extra at the end of the month. But then I realized that you could actually build a business online. And I initially started filling in surveys and stuff, to then realizing that you could build a business. I was like, that was just mind blowing to me. I thought literally you came online to make just a few pounds here and there, but I saw people making 6, 7 figures a year in just doing internet marketing, and that really inspired me. And a lot of these people were a lot of them were like 25, 26 years old. There's nothing special about them, and so I saw them and I thought, if they can do it, then I can do it too. So fast forward, I really struggled for 4 years in online marketing. So just want to highlight that. And so I didn't just come into online marketing and then, become a rock star overnight. I struggled for a long time until I found a mentor who taught me how to market your business the right way. And ever since listening to the right people and applying the right information, like you can do tonight, I've generated 371 leads in a single day. I signed up 6 reps into my business within 24 hours. And I've had multiple $350 days. I've been asleep, I've been offline, away from the computer, doing something a lot more fun than sitting in front of my laptop all day. And that's really it. I've traveled 5 times in the last 6 months to different countries. I've just been living the laptop lifestyle. As I said, I just got back from Vegas. Before that, I was in Nashville, Tennessee for about a couple of weeks ago, and I was there for 4 nights at a conference. And I was also spending some time just masterminding and hanging with some cool people. Back in October, I went to France. So I've just been traveling and building my business at the same time. And that's really what it's all about. You want that flexibility. You want that time freedom as well as the financial freedom. And that's really what online marketing can deliver for you. So we're just going to jump right into our 5 things that you need to do to get to a 5-figure level. So number 1 is the most important. Okay. Number 1 is, if you don't have mindset, then the rest of what I'm going to share with you is not going to matter. So this actually is the most important slide of the presentation. If you don't have the right mindset, you can have all the right information and it's just going to slip through your fingers. It's just not, you're not going to be able to apply it in the right way. Would you agree, Phil?
100%, Seb. 100%. Every single day, I'd be doing a minimum of 30 minutes of reading a good book, watching some good content, listening to an audio book, specific to your industry, specific to your sort of mindset where you want to take yourself. In my opinion, Seb, we've been brainwashed to want to work a job for the rest of our lives, really limit our income, limit our lifestyle. And I believe that we deserve abundance. That's my personal opinion. I feel like we need abundance. And if you're not doing that every single day, you're really stepping yourself back. I mean, me and Seb, we've got this 7-day mastermind running at the moment. Like we've got 20 raving superstars in there that have really come to understand that the foundational principles of any business is your mindset. Your life is a result of the way you see the world, the way you see yourself. Wouldn't you agree, Seb?
Oh, definitely. It's your inner game is going to determine your outer game. What's going on in your mind is, you see, we're actually imagine yourself as being in a 3D game, 3-dimensional video game. That's basically how your life is. So you can actually control everything around you by having in your mind what you want to achieve, right? So you can do this by visualizing. I'd highly recommend spending some time every day visualizing. You can add this into your personal development. Just writing out things that you want to achieve. Write out your goals. Write out places that you want to go on holiday. Really start dreaming. I hate to use the word dreaming because obviously it takes work to make it happen, but you do have to visualize where you want to see yourself once you've done that work. And that's why personal development is important. Write out your goals. If you're not clear on where it is you're going, then how are you going to get to something that doesn't exist? You have to be clear on your goals. So as I've already said here, the results that you want in your life begins with what you believe is your current reality. And I see a lot of people, they speak their reality into existence. So they say, Seb, I would love to join you, but I don't have the money. Well, I say to them, you don't have the money because you're actually speaking it into existence. You're saying your story is, I don't have the money. And for some people, that's been their story since they were old enough to even think. because their parents most likely instilled in them that, you know, money's very sacred and you shouldn't spend it on anything. That's not important. You should be very frugal with your money and be careful where you invest it. And it's almost like having money's a bad thing and you have to get rid of it or not spend it wisely. That's kind of how, as you said, Phil, about the human conditioning, that is something that we battle on a daily basis, and your upbringing can affect that. So if you've been in an upbringing where you know that when you're at the dinner table and all you could hear was, we can't afford it, we can't afford to go on holiday, you know, and there was negative talk about money, that's obviously going to rub off on you. You know, you've obviously had, you know, if that's your struggle right now, that could be one of the main things that you look at. And one book I've been reading called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker talks about this. It talks about your financial blueprint. Okay. And that's really in your mind, what you believe about money and your relationship with money.
100%, Seb. I couldn't agree more. You know, I'm a big believer in those thoughts becoming things, and without getting too esoteric here, you know, like you said, people are speaking themselves into existence. They're not controlling what they say internally as well as externally. And this might be boring. You might have come on this webinar thinking, oh, I just want to know the strategies, but this is the strategy. You know, you can't do the strategies unless you got this right. You know, one of the things is your beliefs and your values, your vision and your standard. That right there, those things right there have to be in order before you get the strategy right. So, you know, your beliefs about what you're worth, the opinion of yourself. If you're there saying, I haven't got any money, I haven't got the time, this is hard, then your business is going to be hard. You know, what you focus on multiplies and grows right there. So, Seb, you know, that Millionaire Mindset book, T. Harv Eker, is definitely the man right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been reading it. I think I was reading it last night, actually, just before going to sleep. And it really, a lot of the book is about cleaning up your financial past, essentially. So if your story is you've always been bad with money, you can change that, and you can do it day by day. It's not something that you can do overnight, but it's something you can gradually do. You know, it really is. And you know, thoughts are things. As you were saying, Phil, you know, thoughts, you know, what you believe is, if you think something, it's actually going to appear in your reality if you think it enough. So like you were saying, Phil, or if you got the mindset that, you know, I'm struggling, you know, things are not going the way I want, the more you think that, the more you'll actually get that. The universe will deliver to you what you believe and what you're thinking. Okay, so what you're thinking is really powerful, more powerful than you can even imagine. So just be very careful of your thoughts, and anytime you think a negative thought, you want to replace that with a positive thought. And no matter where you're at in your life, in your business, there is something positive that you can think about instead of something negative. Wouldn't you agree, Phil?
100%, 100%. You know, what people do is they let their results in life, the money they haven't got, the bodies that they don't want, then they look in the mirror, the relationships, the team members, the clients, they let the results they haven't got dictate how they think, and then what you're thinking about dictates how you feel, and then your feeling ultimately it comes out in your actions. So you can be doing all the work, right? You can be, you know, we're going to get into it, how many people you speak to a day, doing your marketing strategy, your sales, etc. But if you're not thinking and feeling in the right way, remember, you don't see with your eyes, you see through your eyes, but you see with your mind. So what do you see most of the time in your head? Like it says there, thoughts are things.
Absolutely love it. It's all about your perception of the world is going to deliver the results that you want. So another thing to consider is your physiology in your body. So one thing I like to do, if I feel like I'm heading down a negative spiral, and by the way, it's natural for your body, for your mind to think negatively. You know, if you're running on autopilot, and this is why personal development is important, because if you don't have personal development, the mind is, my mentor likes to say that it's programmed to self-destruct. And I think that's really true, because naturally we're programmed to look out for danger and look out for negative things. It's our mind trying to protect us, and actually in a way that's good, because if we didn't have that, if we had literally no element of that whatsoever, then we'd probably walk into ongoing traffic, we'd, you know, jump in the sea and not float, or, you know, we'd just do stupid things because our mind would just let us do anything. So we kind of need to have that that ego in a sense. You know, we need that. It's a necessity. But, you know, at the same time, you can change it. You can, it doesn't mean to say that, you know, just because your mind's programmed to self-destruct, that that's the way it's always going to be. You can fight back with positive thinking, personal development, and watching your thoughts, watching how you feel. So if you're feeling a bit anxious, you know, maybe you're not getting where you want to be, you know, you're feeling anxious, just stop, take a deep breath and just ask yourself how you feel. And if you're not feeling empowered, do something that empowers you. You know, do like some star jumps, or listen to your favorite music, or, you know, take a break. Just do something to kind of reset your energy and then put it back onto a positive, more of a positive energy. What would you say you could add to that, Phil, in terms of tips you could give people to, you know, reset their energy to a higher vibration?
Yeah, set some clear standards for yourself. Some standards. So what do I mean by that? You know, some standards are like, what's no longer acceptable in my life? How do I feel about myself going forward? So what's no longer acceptable? So a standard that I set for myself a year ago was, it is not acceptable in this economy, in this world today, how connected we are, not to be making less than a six-figure income a year. And I set that standard way before I was, and look now, you know, if it's 4-figure weeks, 5-figure months, you know, and it's just powering forward constantly. And because I've set that standard for myself, I get the results. And because I set that standard, I know what's no longer acceptable, the people I can't hang around with, the activities I must do, the activities I must stay clear from, you know. And these things, I've set clear standards about how I feel about them and where I'm going.
Absolutely, did. Absolutely. So crucial that you understand that. So that's perfect timing, because I was just going to say about some 3 key mindset concepts. So there's your deservability, there's your beliefs, and healthy boundaries that you just talked about, Phil. You know, setting boundaries, drawing a line in the sand and saying, I'm not going to live the way I've been living anymore. I'm going to change what I'm doing. So that's boundaries. So we'll come back to that in just a second. But first of all, deservability, and we've touched on this briefly already, but it's, do you feel that you deserve success? So you could be holding yourself back subconsciously because deep down you might be guilty about succeeding. You might think, well, I'm going to make all this money and not know what to do with it. Or you could be thinking, you know, I'm going to feel so bad making all this money and other people are going to be struggling. Those come down to deservability. Okay, so you need to convince yourself that you do deserve success. And one thing you can do is just declare it to the universe every single morning. What I recommend that you do if you struggle with deservability is, if you've got somewhere quiet that you can do this, maybe in your car or in the shower or somewhere where you can just, you know, scream and shout at the top of your lungs and not disturb too many people. Okay, but you can shout out a proclamation, which is, it's like an affirmation on steroids. Okay, so deservability, let's talk about this. So if you don't feel that you're worthy of success, then I would recommend that your proclamation is, I'm worthy of success, at the top of your lungs. Or you say, I'm worthy of abundance, I'm worthy of wealth. You're worthy of whatever it is that you're, if it's not wealth, it's something else, then you can proclaim that to the universe. And I would recommend doing that daily. That's super powerful. That will help you with your confidence, and it's going to feel weird the first like 50 times you do it. Okay, it's going to feel weird when you do it, but you know, you're actually tricking your subconscious mind into believing it, because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between fact and fiction. It just absorbs whatever you feed it. Okay, that's literally how it works.
Just to add to that, Seb, the only reason it feels weird is because you got told it's weird by an adult when you started growing up. There's kids that run around and they have no shame. They play around, they shout, and we don't mind. But what happens is, as you grow up, you're told that's not the way you act. That you look like a fool. And if you're holding on to these beliefs that were given to you, remember, a belief is just a suggestion that was given to the mind. You don't have to keep that belief. All those things really sum down to these two limiting beliefs. One, you don't believe you deserve it, or two, you don't believe you can pull it off. Once you really identify where you're at, again, use those powerful affirmations: I am, I will, I must, and you'll get exactly what you want in life.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if you reaffirm to yourself that you're the entrepreneur that people are seeking out, you're attracting 5 and 6 figure earners to your business, you're a money magnet, you have to proclaim these things, okay? Because if you don't, then the spiral can work the other way and you start going into a negative spiral if you don't be consistent with this, okay? So, and that links into beliefs a little bit as well, which is the two of the three key mindset concepts that My Millionaire taught me. Is you have to believe and have such a strong intention about what you're going to do. Like with Phil, for example, give us an example of one of your intentions, and then one of your intentions that you achieved, and how powerful an intention is.
Yeah, some of the intentions that I use, again, they're like affirmations, and this is what I teach the clients that work with us. I say, I am so happy and grateful now that it's like I'm proclaiming the future to be like it's already happened. I'm so happy and grateful now that money flows to me in increasing quantities from multiple sources on a continuous basis. And, again, I don't say this to brag or anything like that, because anybody that knows me on a deep level knows that I'm not one to brag. But, when you're having just money come to you from multiple sources, like yesterday, I made over £1,000 in one day, and people are struggling to make that in a month. It's because I didn't use those negative affirmations that people use unconsciously. Oh, I haven't got the money. Oh, I haven't got the... Well, you're speaking it into existence. So everything that Seb's saying to you right now, it's so true. You've got to control and pick your beliefs.
Yeah, 100%, dude. 100%. Because if you don't, other people are going to pick them for you. And if you don't have that strong mindset, then you'll believe them. You'll believe what other people believe about you. And that's not the path of success. You want to create your own beliefs, and you say, I'm going for this, whatever goal it is, I'm going for it no matter what. I'm going to make it happen. Nothing's going to stop me. I'm going to do it. That's the power of belief, guys. That's the power of it. So I'm just going to talk about boundaries again quickly before we jump to the next slide. So setting healthy boundaries, an example of that is being very careful of who you work with. Okay, oftentimes when we start a business, we want to just sign everyone up. We're eager to get our business growing. We're eager to make sales. We obviously want to recoup our investment. Whether you're a coach and you're looking for clients, or you're a network marketer looking to sign up distributors, that's the mindset we have. Is we want to sign up anyone and everyone with a pulse, just to kind of get the momentum going. And that's a good mindset to have in some aspects. But the problem with that can be is you can actually bring in the wrong people into your business. And I've personally had this happen to me, where I've brought someone into my business and they asked me, what they had to do to succeed, once they had got started. And I recommended some resources to them. I said, you'll need to purchase this, you'll need this tool, you need this and that and the other thing. And, I'm only recommending things that I've tried and done personally, nothing else, just stuff that he actually needs, essential tools, some books to read, some videos to watch, a few events I've attended that I can recommend. And the mindset that he had, he thought, well, you know, why should I do that? You know, I've already paid my way into this program. You know, basically he was looking for a handout. So, and you will get people like this if you don't set those boundaries. And what I had to do was I had to actually block this guy on Facebook, believe it or not. I had to actually block this guy who was technically a business partner of mine, because my business and where I'm going means so much to me that I'd rather cut one person off and keep everything going and keep things positive than have someone try and pull me down their victim rabbit hole. You know, I mean, Phil, have you had any sort of similar experiences?
Yeah, plenty. You know, like you said,
Yeah.
I think it's these three areas that you need to set clear boundaries on. You know, number one, your health. You know, what's no longer acceptable. You know, you again, it's not that this is a health and a nutritional webinar that you're on here, but your health determines your moods, and your moods determine your choices. You know, so if you're not taking care of yourself, and I'm not saying, you know, go and start becoming a marathon runner or a professional boxer or anything like that, but you know, your health determines your moods determine your choices. And I'm not just talking about your physical health, I'm talking about your mental health. So, you know, again, setting that standard, 30 minutes a day where you're going to read a good book, watch some good YouTube content from your mentors, maybe a program that you've purchased from a top speaker, you know, maybe it's an audio book you've got from Audible, iTunes Store, whatever the case is. Then the next standard is what's no longer acceptable with the relationships in my life. That's relationships, personal relationships and business relationships. You know, you've got to protect your space. You have got to protect your space. You know, negative people are like frigging energy vampires. So you've got to just cut them out. And it's not easy with everybody, but again, when you've got a value next to where you want to be, you better set standards against who you have to hang around with. Then the last thing is what's no longer acceptable in regards to the way you conduct yourself with your money. That's the way you talk about your money, the way you spend your money, the way you make your money. You know, all these different things. What's no longer acceptable? And my mentor, John Canary, you know, he said it's okay to have one bad day. That's a really good standard. I'm allowed one bad day, but I'm not going to let one bad day turn into 2 bad days. That's a really good standard, because when you start letting that momentum go and the bad, it's all over. Wouldn't you agree, Seb?
Oh, definitely, definitely. And I quite like that saying, because, you know, you have to give yourself a break every now and then, and you're not perfect, and you're a human being, you've got flaws. So, you know, to allow yourself, just to give yourself permission that, you know, obviously we're not aiming for bad days, but if one happens, then you just take it as it comes. You know, the most positive people in the world. I mean, you look at someone like Tony Robbins. I'm pretty sure he's had a bad day or two in his day, and I'm sure he still runs into challenges, and you'll be the same way. You know, and you know, talking about boundaries, that's a great way to, you know, categorize the types of boundaries and where you set them in your life. You know, we're not saying in terms of relationships that you have to cut people off and never talk to them again, or you know, split up with your missus. You know, we're not saying do drastic things, but you know, you have to set boundaries, let people know around you what's important, and let them know the direction you're going in, and don't make exceptions. You know, your dream is important. You have to protect your dream. Otherwise you might not even have a dream to protect anymore. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, for sure, Seb, for sure. So, you know, just to summarize, 30 minutes a day, that's all it takes. 30 minutes a day, and then you get into the real strategy elements, these next stages that Seb's going to be going through with myself. So where are we going with this, Seb?
Right, so next we're going to talk about prospecting and marketing. So this is a little bit more hands-on stuff. Once you've got the mindset, I know we talked about it quite extensively, but it's super important, you know. So with prospecting and marketing, there are 2 types of prospecting, and ideally you should be doing one of each. So we've got active prospecting, which could be reaching out to people in your warm market, using Facebook and messaging people, you know. So you're actively going out there and finding people to talk to and generating that interest. That's active prospecting. It doesn't matter what strategy you do. Okay, it doesn't matter what kind of active prospecting strategy you do. just do one that you feel most comfortable with. And then you've got passive prospecting. So that's typically when you put out an advert on Facebook and people come to you. So you're not really doing a lot to generate prospects. Okay. So the cool thing of if you have one of each is you could be going out there, going to networking functions, prospecting, meeting people. Oh, obviously you don't prospect at networking functions, but you hand out business cards, you get to know everyone there. And whilst you're at the networking event, your Facebook adverts could be bringing in prospects to you. So it's almost like you're duplicating your efforts, so that could be a really cool way to actually bring people to you. So you have that leverage, which we'll talk about in the next few slides. So what could you add to that, Phil, in terms of what would you suggest to people in terms of, balancing the two?
Again, so active prospecting is so important, especially if you're starting out and you haven't got a budget to start with, you haven't got a marketing budget. And to be honest, active prospecting, it's so essential because that's how you get good at your business. Now, prospecting is just connecting with people. It's not pitching people. It's connecting with people and finding people that have similar values and beliefs as you. It's not, hey, I found you. You're a really like-minded person. I'd love to connect and maybe share my business opportunity with. That's not what this is, man. You just don't in this world. If you was walking down the street and somebody stopped you saying, hey, you look like a like-minded person. Would you like to join my business? You'd be like, who the hell are you? What's going on? Prospecting is not talking about your business. Prospecting is meeting people and getting interested in them getting interested in you and seeing if you want to spend time with them. That's it. That's where this is. If then you qualify the person to say, this person's got similar values, beliefs as me, then we'll talk business. If not, I don't want to share my gold with that person. So active prospecting is where you refine your skills and you find the golden nuggets, the golden gems, the people in your business that you want to spend time with. And then your passive prospecting, once you start to generate an income through active prospecting, which I never really recommend you to stop actively prospecting, but you do it until you can start your passive marketing strategies. Then you can take your foot off the gas with your active prospecting because now you're generating an income. You can start to place ads out there, and that can really do the prospecting for you. So you can take your foot off the gas a bit, but in the early days in your business, you really want to keep your foot on the ground and literally setting a standard of how many people you want to be connecting with. And I'm not just talking about sending messages on Facebook. Pick up the phone. People don't understand. When you're messaging on Facebook, that conversation could last days, weeks, years, all dependent on when that person decides to get back to you. But when you pick up the phone to somebody, you're compressing timeframes. Do you want to get to where you want to get to quickly or long? Do you want to take the long route or the quick route? Because you can have a quick conversation with somebody and ask all the questions that you're going to ask and have the conversation that you're going to have on a phone call, similar to how you can do it on message, but you're taking long on message. So don't be afraid of the phone. Face your fears and get good at picking up the phone and speaking to people like a human being. What do you reckon, Seb?
Yeah, definitely. I'll be honest with you, that was something I was putting off for a while, is just getting on the phone with people. I just got into a habit of, just doing online stuff, which is my niche. But, I kind of stopped using the phone for a while, and I thought, well, why not? Why not use the phone? And when I got back on the phone and got back into a habit of, making a couple of phone calls a day, nothing crazy, because I have other ways I generate leads and stuff. But, if you're new, you should be on the phone a lot, I would say. So anyway, when I started using the phone, the more I've done phone calls, the more I've just called people, the better I've become at it. So if you're really struggling with the phone and you're struggling with prospecting, because most people, when they hear prospecting, they're like, oh my God, I have to sell people. Well, that's not necessarily what you're doing. You are selling, but there's a way of doing it, which, we'll talk about that. But, you have to get comfortable on the phone. And one strategy I would recommend, if you're not comfortable on the phone, is just buy a bunch of leads and call them just for the phone experience. They don't have to be very good leads. They could be absolute junk leads. You know, I've bought leads before and called them, and half the numbers didn't work. You know, the other half had, you know, the phone's disconnected or something like that. But the phone experience is invaluable. Even if you don't close any of these leads that you've bought, you know, if you bought like 100 leads and you managed to call all of them, that phone experience is, you know, it's definitely going to help you to not be afraid of this phone, especially if you just bought all these leads. You're obviously going to do something with them. So that's my recommendation when people say, you know, I'm not good on the phone, and you know, their problem really is their solution. They can just get on the phone and practice. You know, it's either that or they just choose a different industry, in my opinion.
Yeah, and then the crazy thing is, people hear the word prospecting and they get it confused with selling. You know, and again, I talked about how I worked at McDonald's many years ago, but you've got McDonald's cashiers that are better trained than some network marketers out there. You know, when people walk into McDonald's, they don't say, "Let me guess," or they don't say, "Hold on, I'm going to do you a big tasty meal with a Big Mac and a chicken sandwich and a large fries. That's what you're having." They don't just do that. They say, "How can I help?" They ask a good question. They don't know whether they've come into the shop to buy McDonald's or ask for directions for Burger King. You know what I mean? They speak to the person and find out, well, are you here because I have something you want, or is it something else? So prospecting is just speaking to people, finding out their needs, where they want to go, the pains, what they're struggling with. You share from the heart as well. Don't lie. If you're not full-time in your business, don't lie. You know, say, yeah, I work for this company. I also have an amazing project I'm working on that's going to get me somewhere. How about yourself? What do you do? What do you like doing? That's what prospecting is. It's conversation. Then if you're in a health and wellness company and the person's like, "Oh yeah, I work, I love getting on it on the weekends, and you know, I smoke 20 fags a day," you're not going to go, "Man, you should join my business." But that's what people are doing. Like, I just don't get it. So guys, prospecting is not selling. Prospecting is finding people worth speaking to.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, the cool thing is, if you get good at prospecting, so when you're prospecting, you want to be leading the conversation by asking questions. But when you get really good at prospecting, you'll only need to ask, you know, like maybe 5 or 6 questions to really get the information and data that you need to see if that person qualifies. So, you know, prospecting doesn't have to be an hour-long phone call. You know, sometimes it is. Sometimes you talk to people and that's how it goes. But it can be, you know, like a brief conversation. You know, you can make prospecting calls that are not too time-consuming. You know, depending on what you're doing, obviously. But, you know, people think, you know, prospecting takes up a lot of time. Well, you know, how badly do you want to build your business? That's really what it comes down to. And, you know, are you willing to just pick up the phone and make the calls? That's really the next step.
That's it. And you need to get on the phone so you can make some money. So, and if you want to leverage your time, you've got to make some money so you can frigging put the passive marketing strategies up there, like the Facebook ads, you know. So what's this say here, Seb?
Yeah, definitely, Phil. And we actually share a lot of this with our clients and with people who work with us on exactly how to prospect, what to say, and that's a really profitable skill. So going into the marketing side of the slide, marketing is basically solving a problem. So what problems does your marketing solve? And as you were saying, Phil, just trying to pitch people, and you know, you wouldn't walk into McDonald's and they try and tell you about, you know, the history of McDonald's and how great the company is and how many billions of pounds of sales that they've done. And people in network marketing do this all the time. They say we're in a ground floor company and we're, you know, we've got people, you know, we're in 25 million countries. If you walked into McDonald's and they said that to you, you'd look at them like they had 3 heads. You know, so marketing is solving a problem. You have to determine if there's a need and a problem that you can solve. But you know, what problems does your marketing solve? So you want to do value-based marketing. So this obviously will depend on your target market, but you need to decide who your target market is. Okay.
Yeah.
And so once you've done that, we'll talk about that in, later on, about target market and who to target. But let's say you've got that figured out and you know who to talk to. Then you need to understand what problems they might have. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you're a network marketer. Your ideal target market should be other business owners. The reason for that is because they understand about investing in themselves, they understand how the business works, and they've already purchased a similar product or business opportunity in the past. They're more likely to do it again versus someone who's never owned a business before. Okay. And so, what are the problems that most business owners face? They either don't have enough inquiries or they don't have enough cash flow to keep their business going. So if that's your target market, let's just assume that it is, then your marketing should be all around helping them to generate more leads and helping them to cover their costs. Wouldn't you agree, Phil?
100%, 100%. Businesses that make the most money solve the most problems. Businesses that make the most money solve the most problems for the most people. And that's what your marketing's got to be designed for. If you're in the again, I'll just use the health and wellness niche again because it's such a popular niche. If you're in health and wellness, you want to target people that are overweight, they're struggling with motivation, sticking to diets, getting into the perfect wedding dress, whatever the case may be. You want to market specifically, very specifically, to that person's frustrations and that person's immediate wants. Not, hey, click here to change your life. People don't have a picture of what their life looks like in 5-10 years. They're worrying about looking good on the weekend. That's what they're worried about, their immediate frustrations, their immediate wants. So solve your target audience's problems with your marketing.
Absolutely. And you want to lead with value, and that's what attracts people. Telling them about how great your company is or how great your offer is doesn't attract people. It repels them. People don't want to be sold, but they like to buy. And that's why value-based marketing is important. You lead with value, and then once that rapport is built with that person, then you can actually see if what you're doing is a fit for them. Okay, well, you have to have that. They have to like, know, and trust you before you sell them anything. But if you do have the rapport built and you do offer something, they're a lot more open to it than if they didn't have that, if there wasn't that rapport there. So that is super important. Now, a way of marketing, as an example, is lifestyle marketing. And that's, again, assuming your target market are seeking freedom. So if you did lifestyle marketing where you're showing pictures of you at the beach or pictures of you out having fun, with your family, doing cool things, sitting in, nice cars, just out and about enjoying life. That's an example of how to market. Okay, so that's lifestyle marketing. That works really well on social media. That can work great if you're a life coach or you're a networker. Lifestyle marketing is just an example of how you can actually do marketing, like a practical example. Can you think of any others, Phil?
Yeah, I love sharing sort of, we was talking about mindset, share a little quote from the books you read every day, something you hear, just share it out there, because that will propel to people with similar values and beliefs, especially the business owners that may have read similar books. They'll like your post, they'll comment on it going, hey, that's from that speaker said that. And there's a person you can go and speak to, not sell to. There's a person you can go and speak to and maybe find some similar ground. That's a great strategy right there.
Awesome stuff. So another way you can actually do, we talked about attracting people a couple of minutes ago. So another method you can use to attract people and market yourself is create a lead magnet, again, that solves your target market's problems. Okay, so you need to, again, have a good think about who your target market is and some of the problems they might be experiencing. One thing I will say when choosing your target market is ideally, if you've had that experience yourself, then it'll be a lot easier to market. So, for example, let's say that I was trying on shoes or something, and there wasn't a nice pair of shoes that I liked, so I decided to design my own pair of shoes. I've experienced that problem, and then went on to, you know, create that, find that solution or create it. But the important thing about that is I experienced that problem. So I know the pains, the frustrations that target market have gone through. So it's a lot easier to market to other people when you've actually been through that yourself and you understand some of the emotions that people are going through, some of the things that run through their head. And so when you do marketing, it makes it a lot easier for you to relate to them and them to relate to you. So anyway, moving on to creating a lead magnet, it's related to what we were saying earlier about leading with value. So a lead magnet for other business owners could be learn how to generate 21 leads in a single day without rejection or doing home parties. And it could be a video that I did. It could be a video where I just share 21 different ways you could generate leads. So I could talk about Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, or whatever. It doesn't matter what the lead magnet is, as long as it solves some kind of problems.
100%, Seb. And a lot of people struggle with this when they're starting out. They're going, well, I haven't got any, I didn't generate any leads, I haven't made any money. Well, who's a mentor that you know, somebody that you know that you can go and maybe get 10 top tips from, and you can call your lead magnet 10 tips from a 7-figure earner, or whatever the case may be. And there's your lead magnet, because you're branding yourself by association. So when you connect with people, they're going to be like, this is who you hang around with. Guys, if you limit your potential, you limit your awareness, you'll get limited results. Isn't that right, Seb?
Definitely agree with that. And like you were saying, even if you're brand new and you started yesterday, then you could seek out experts in your niche, do an interview with them, and that could be your lead magnet. So even if you're a gardener, then seek out other expert gardeners, do an interview with them. You could do a podcast, or you could do like a Google Hangout and record it, but make sure it's recorded and then upload it to YouTube or wherever it is, and you've got your lead magnet. So you could put up a post on Facebook saying, hey guys, I just did an interview with a 7-figure earner who taught me how to do X, Y, Z. If you want to see the video, just hit me up on private message, and you can send them the lead magnet. And then there we go. You've generated a lead. And if you're struggling to generate leads, it's because you don't have a lead magnet. So we've given you tons of examples now of how to prospect, market, and attract people. So just going to jump to the next slide. So before we carry on, we want to, this leads perfectly actually into some of the bonuses we've put together for you on the webinar. So these are all completely free bonuses that you can download tonight. So do you want to talk about yours first quickly, Phil?
Yeah, so a lead magnet that I put out there, which is full of tons of value, is how to convert 5 prospects into your business in the next 7 days. And these are specific strategies that I've used in the past and I continue to use to help people, my clients, and that get real tangible results in the business. So there's an example. Go ahead, take a look, take the value from it, incorporate it in your business, and maybe you can use that to mimic a lead magnet of your own. There it is right there. What about yours, Seb?
Yeah, definitely. And so it's good that we've been able to provide this to you, because you can see these are physical examples of lead magnets. So I highly recommend picking up Phil's PDF on how to convert 5 prospects in 7 days. Okay, super powerful training, and I highly recommend it to people that I know. So one that I've put together is a similar kind of thing. So it's 7 steps for unstoppable sponsoring. So it's a bulletproof cheat sheet. I think it's 21 pages or something for sponsoring more reps into your business starting from today. And you can download that at sebbrantigan.net 7 steps guidebook. Okay. That's what the URL should say there. 7 steps guidebook. So that's where you can actually download that ebook. If you can't access it for some reason, or you can't access Phil's, just shoot us the message and we'll send over a copy to you. But these are just examples of, lead magnets, ways that you can attract people into your business. Okay, you want to build that rapport with them, so you want to get them, hooked on the lead magnets, so they go through it and they're just totally blown away, and they'll be asking you, wow, what do you have that's similar to this, or where can I get more information? And then you could turn around and say, well, in order to get the whole picture, to get all of the pieces of the puzzle, you'll need to be a client or join my team, where we provide you with the exact training and information you need to get you to where you need to be. And then you kind of hook them in. Okay, it's really, really powerful stuff. You can actually hook people in using these principles. Wouldn't you agree, Phil?
100%, Seb, 100%. You got to give value. You can't expect people to take your word straight away. Show them that or know people that know information that's worth sharing, because that will build trust, that will develop the relationship, and it may just lead to a solid collaboration and you guys really working together on your business. Maybe it's a client, whatever the case may be. A lot of coaches I know out there, they're not giving value up front. They're trying to get people on the phone and say, oh, my time's worth £300 an hour. No, that's you're going to put people off. Give first, give some time, and then people will respect you a lot more.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. That's the way we've been building our businesses. And so when we actually say to people, well, look, if you want to get to the next level, here's what you need to do. They're already thinking, wow, how do I get access to this? How do I do it? So they're selling themselves. We're not trying to twist their arms and tell them, you need to do this, you need to do that. They're already saying to themselves why they should be doing it. They're giving themselves reasons why they should get started. So again, to download these, actually you can just go to sebbrantigan.net/about, and you can download my PDF there. You can also download Phil's sebbrantigan.net/5 in 7 days. These are really super powerful concepts, with both applied daily to bring people into our businesses and sign them up as clients. So we know you get huge value from that, and make sure to share them with other people if you benefited. So moving on, I'm conscious of time, so I'm just jumping to slide number 3. We're talking about sales now. Okay, so this is Phil's speciality, so I'm hoping he can add some information to this slide and talk about that. So really, you can break sales down into 2 sections here. So there's presenting and there's closing. Phil, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, 100%. Let's just face it. If you're in business, you're an entrepreneur, whatever the case may be, you may not have the title professional salesperson, but if you have a product, a service, an opportunity for someone to enhance their position in life, then you better get good at selling. You have to get good at selling, and just understand this. A lot of us have got terrible paradigms around selling, that it's like some sort of dirty manipulation and whatever the case may be, but that's so wrong. That's because there's so many people out there lying to people, using sleazy tactics and not really delivering on the promises. That's why the industry and the word has got such a stigma to it. If you're a professional salesperson, I've got some of my clients that pay me a lot of money. Some of our clients that pay us a lot of money thank us. They thank us. They thank us for doing the things that we have done with them, because it enables them to get the results that they want in life. So you need to get comfortable with selling, and selling is not something you do to people, it's something you do for them, and it's creating win-win situations where you can deliver your service, your product at the highest level, and the person can get their results at the highest level as well. And like we said, selling comes after prospecting, after you find the right people to ultimately sell to. And selling is broken down in 2 areas: presenting and closing.
Boom.
See,
That's
it's
it.
sales, you see, everybody's good at presenting and saying, hey, everybody's promoting what they love, what they enjoy. But you know what they don't get good at? Closing, asking for the order confidently, knowing that if you ask somebody to join you, buy your product, buy your service, that it will confidently get them results. And the reason they can't ask for the order is because they aren't sold themselves. So sales starts by selling yourself, and that means you go back to number one and you sell yourself with your mindset, the opinion on yourself. And then you make sure you're in a company, you're pushing a product that you absolutely know can get people results. And then you should feel comfortable saying, hey, do you want to get this started right now? Because believe me, you'll get some phenomenal results. I promise you that. Sound fair enough? And just asking for the order. Ask for the order. That's what it's about, guys. Anything you can add to that, Seb?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like you said about asking for the order, most people will do all of the work. And when it comes to actually closing the sale, they're afraid to say to them, look, okay, well, you know, here's what we do next. You'll need to go to this website, fill in this form, and, you know, we accept Mastermind, Maestro, Discover Card, you know, all of the main credit card processes. Just fill in this form, click the sign up button, and, you know, it take probably about 5 minutes. As soon as you're inside, you're going to receive an email with login information, and it's going to direct you to whatever it is. You know, like you said, just all you do is walk them through what's going to happen. You know, that's not even closing. That's just explaining the process. You know, explaining, you know, reiterating the value and just saying, you know, once you're inside, you'll be able to do X, Y, Z, and that kind of comes back to presenting in a way. But then you're already, you know, you're always linking the two together. You know, you're presenting, closing, and then you're bouncing back to presenting. You know, presenting the value, presenting the offer, whatever it is. You know, you want to always keep both of these, you know, linked together and keep the momentum going in the conversation. You want to always lead the conversation by, again, just, you know, like presenting is just basically showing the other person what they're going to get, giving them reasons why they should be joining right now. You know, because people come up with objections and stuff, and so the more you present value, the less objections you're going to get.
Exactly, and this leads on perfectly with how many people you should be prospecting, and then you'll find a few golden nuggets that you think I really want to share my idea with them. So how many times do you want to present to people every day? And if you're doing sales presentations, you know you haven't gone through all that trouble prospecting, identifying that this is a person that can massively benefit from your product or service. You haven't gone through all that trouble for them just to say, let me think about it. There's nothing to think about here. You know, I haven't identified you to be a qualified person for you to walk away back to apathy when I know I have something that I'm absolutely sold on and want to share with you. So closing, you know, I love Grant Cardone, the top salesperson. If you take the C from closing, what you're left with? Losing. If you're not closing, you're losing, because both parties lose. If you don't help that person with your product or service, you don't close that person, they lose and you lose. So if you're not closing, you're losing. So you gotta learn, you gotta train this stuff every single day. You know, I love listening to Grant Cardone. He talks about kids. You know, they're persistent sellers and they're not even trained. They're not even trained. They've got no respect about it. They just kick and scream and, I want it, I want it. And the parents give up and give the child what they want. But when you can't do that in the business world, because people are looking at you funny if you start kicking and screaming. So you've got to train yourself to close in an elegant way that empowers the other person, gets them seeing things from a different way. So you're not being pushy, but you're actually being pulley. And ultimately, you want to get your prospects saying, you know, I want to do this. I want to do this. It's very rare that I lose connection with people that I've presented to. They always stay in contact with me, regardless of if they buy or they don't buy. And usually, most often of the time, they always end up buying, because you don't be pushy with it. You know, again, selling is two people walking a path of mutual agreement. That's all it is.
There we go. There we go. You heard it from the man himself. You know, that's the power of having that influence on your prospects. And when you've done some of the things we've recommended in the previous slide, where we talked about, you know, giving value and leading with a lead magnet and not with your business, it's going to be way easier to just get people to sign up. They see the value in working with you. They see that, wow, so this is what he does for free. They think, well, imagine what I'm going to get when I actually work with this guy. You know, that's the perception you're giving out. Okay, so we're talking about sales, but this is not, you know, we're not beating on people's doors. We're not cold calling. We're doing it in a very scientific and strategic way. Okay, so, you know, how well do you present your offer? You know, is it clearly explained? Is important. So, you know, is the offer presented in a way that makes sense to the prospect, so that there's, you know, minimal to no questions? They have all the information that they need to decide. You know, so the other thing is, when closing, is there a genuine need that exists? You know, and if there is a need, then explore it with the prospects. Get them to elaborate. So if you're selling a product that helps the person generate more leads, this person says, well, you know, I've actually been struggling to generate leads for a while. And you say, really? So tell me more about that. Or you say, you know, you can phrase it how you want, but you want them to elaborate and push on their pain. And so that links into the process of them kind of selling themselves, where they're saying, oh my God, you know, I'm really not getting the results I want. I need to do something different. And then they're looking at, you know, they've got your offer right in front of them. So, you know, you need to determine if there's a genuine need. And if there is that need, you want to get your prospect to elaborate on it as much as possible. And they're literally going to tell you what you need to know to actually sell them. So next step is to, you know, you want to paint pictures in your prospect's mind. So the way that you do this is you, again, present. So that's obviously part of it, but, you know, what are they going to be feeling? You know, what are some of the emotions that they're experiencing? You know, so if they're lacking money, you know, are you able to paint a picture where you say, if there was a way that you're able to generate as much as $1,000 in a single sale, you know, so you could cover your child support, or, you know, whatever it is in their life that they need the money for. Again, you need to explore that with them, you know, and you say that, and you say, would that interest you? And you kind of paint that picture, and you get them emotionally attached to their dream, emotionally connected. Then, you know, your results will skyrocket. Wouldn't you agree, Phil?
100%. You know, it's so important that you are clear with what you're saying. You use the correct tonal patterns. You're not telling people, you know, you're suggesting ideas to people in a very clear and concise way. So you need to know your product and service inside out. Also, you better have got interested in your prospect before you start selling to them, because you can't just start assuming and start feature bashing and knocking them over the head with, hey, this is the best thing since sliced bread. They don't care about that. They only care what's relevant to them. And the only way you can know what's relevant to them is if you've spent time finding out what's relevant to them. And that's how you paint beautiful pictures in the prospect's mind that creates an emotional case and also a logical case as to why they should take action and work with you in your coaching business, or in your network marketing business, or any business. As a matter of fact, it doesn't really matter. This is a skill that you need.
Definitely. And if you can get that person emotionally attached to their vision and where they want to go, you know, ask them about their vision. Ask them, what is your vision? And they'll tell you what their vision is if you've built that rapport. And then, you know, ask them, well, you know, how far are you working towards the vision? How close are you to that? And you can now use, so you're basically collecting data that you can now use in order to, you know, sell that person, get them interested, get them really connected to, you know, to your offer. And each conversation is going to be different, because you're painting pictures, you know, different pictures for different people. So, and that's the way it should be. That's why, you know, using scripts are good, but you'll also want to, you know, speak in a way that is, you know, you make the conversation unique, basically, because every conversation is going to be different. You're going to want to go off the script sometimes. It's like following a roadmap. You know, you're obviously going to go from A to B, but sometimes you want to go off the roadmap a bit and explore, and you use the roadmap as a guide, but it doesn't mean to say that you have to stick to the roadmap the whole entire way. And so that's just something to, bear in mind if you're using scripts. I think using scripts are good, but just always remember to, be in the moment and be fresh and be in tune with your prospect and the way they're going.
That's it.
So yeah, again, as I said earlier, you want to walk them through what will happen when they buy. You want to reiterate, or in some cases represent, the value in store for them. So walk them through, what's going to happen next, tell them the price, tell them what they need to do. And, you can walk them through on the phone. You can say, well, what's your credit card number? What's your PayPal? Let's log into PayPal now and let's do this. Let's get you started so I can immediately show you what you need to do to succeed. How does that sound? And you can just walk them through the whole process so they're comfortable with you. Wouldn't you agree, Phil? To just, guide them and hold their hand through this. For some people, it's a big decision for them because they're actually committing for the first time in their lives.
100%. You overcommit and you overdeliver. You overcommit and you overdeliver, and you just make sure that you're not one of these sleazy people that's just trying to make money off this person. You have to be there for them. You have to serve them. And I'm not saying you're a slave to them, but you make sure that person believes and knows that you're not just another person just conning them.
Yeah, exactly. There's unfortunately a lot of that in this industry where people just want to make a sale, get a sign up, but that's not really what it's about. It's about having that lifelong connection. Like you were saying, Phil, whether they buy or not, just because they don't buy today, that doesn't mean that they're not going to do so in a few weeks or a few months' time. They might be some of your best customers because they've been following you all this time. And they could end up being with you for a very long time. They've just been wanting to, like, know, and trust you. Some people take longer to make decisions, but, they could be some of your most profitable, customers or business relationships. It's definitely been the case for me. So I'm just going to speed on to, we're going to talk about industry domination. So first tip here is you need to stand out. Okay, what makes you different to everyone else in your niche? I mean, Phil, wouldn't you say that being a coach is very competitive?
100%. And it really doesn't matter how many people are out there, as long as you can be different. But in the network marketing space, in the coaching space, you've got to make sure you stand out from the noise. Everybody's trying to get your prospects' attention. So what makes you stand out? What makes you unique? I 100% agree with what you were saying, Seb. You have to be able to stand out. What makes you unique?
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to the importance of a lead magnet, that's one way you can stand out, because hardly anyone has a lead magnet. The only people who have lead magnets are leaders, so all we're doing is we're just emulating what leaders are doing, giving value and having lead magnets. And this works for any industry. It's not just, the home business industry, but even if you're doing a traditional business, it's the same thing. You're going to want to dominate in the industry. That's what Grant Cardone talks about. You want to just dominate, be the guy who everyone sees all the time. And so the best way to stand out is to be different. Your marketing has to be, interesting and captivating. You really have to be very creative in order to stand out sometimes, really creative.
Talk about the things.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, I say, look, talk about the things that people want to hear. Don't hide behind and not be opinionated. Get out there and stand out, guys. Get on video, get on Facebook Live, do a YouTube channel, whatever it takes.
Definitely. It's not difficult, because all you're doing is the things that most people are not doing in your niche. So if there's not many people doing videos, there's not many people doing value-based webinars, there's not many people creating lead magnets, but people are really wanting that stuff, then that's all you have to do is just fill that gap in the market. There's always going to be room, but you have to stand out. Otherwise, it's easier to fall into the rest of the noise of, you know, the other marketers who are trying to, you know, peddle products and pitch, you know, features and benefits. It's not all about that. It's about why people should buy from you versus everyone else. And so, you know, one way to do that is to give so much value that solves your target market's pain that they will come back to you again and again. You know, we've talked about Ray Higdon, Phil and I in a few different webinars, and that's a cool thing about Ray's blog is, you know, I will regularly go to his blog. You know, I used to go, you know, a couple of times a week, but now it's, you know, once every couple of weeks. But I still go back time and time again and check out his content. There's a few marketers who I do this with as well. I also end up buying their products. Isn't that an interesting discovery? That, you know, the more I see them, the more I'm on their blog, the more I'm looking at their content, the more likely I am to buy. And in a lot of cases, I'm not even business partners with these leaders in the industry. I just buy their products, but I'm a very profitable customer, you know, because there's been one particular guy who I must have spent, I'd say almost $1,000 with easily, you know, and I've never joined his business. I've only bought his products, and that's the only way I've actually worked with him. But he's given so much value that I actually feel guilty for not buying something. And that sounds funny, but if you run your business like that, then you'll get a lot more sales.
That's it. It's like McDonald's, going back to them again. They're not the best restaurant in the world, but anytime anybody gets hungry, they just want to go and get a McDonald's because they dominate their space. They dominate their space. They get the most customers through the door every single day. I believe that McDonald's spend $2 per customer on advertising. You know, so guys, I'm not saying that you have to do that, but they're on the telephone boxes, they're on billboards, they're on the internet, they're in your face on the TV, they're everywhere because they want to dominate the space in your mind. You see, your niche, your industry, it's full of a lot of people, but there's not many people that are standing out. So what's going to make you stand out so you can take space in your target market's mind?
Yeah, most definitely. That's the way to go, is just filling that gap and just standing out as much as you possibly can and attracting your audience to you. That's how you do industry domination. Now, some other tips that you might not have heard before is something called joint venturing, which all that is just working with other people in your niche. Okay, so, you know, Phil and I working together is an example of a joint venture. You know, when we're not in each other's businesses or anything like that, but the idea is that you collaborate and not compete. You can do so much working with other people compared to on your own. You know, Phil and I could definitely be doing our own thing, and, you know, we still do in some aspects, but, you know, we'd be making a lot more money working together and putting all of our value together into one product than we would trying to separately do our own things. You know, I can guarantee you that if we, you know, we speak every single day and come up with ways that we can create value for you guys. And it's just so powerful to do that. And the great thing is we're collaborating and not competing. So that could be a great way to put your foot in the door. If you're joining a new industry, joint venture with people, it's going to make your life a lot easier. You know, there's things that I'm good at that Phil's not good at, and vice versa. And we can, you know, we definitely complement each other in terms of, you know, skills that I don't have that Phil has, and vice versa. Joint venturing, not many people do it, but it's so powerful.
And just to add on top of that, you know, this is why you don't go and sell to everybody, but you prospect to build relationships, because then you will meet these people, whether you do business straight away now or in the future. Me and Seb met each other back in 2014, but it wasn't until the end part of last year we really started to collaborate together and really build that relationship. But what we did, because we are professionals in our niche, we stayed in touch. He followed up with me, I followed up with him. That doesn't mean, hey, you ready to join my business? Hey, you ready to? We wasn't doing that. We was like, hey, how's it going? Yeah, there's this event. You want to come to this event, Seb? Yeah, come on through. Come. Yeah, stay with me, man. No problem. And this is the power of this industry. If you treat it like a lifestyle, I'm not saying like give up your kids and, but make it part of yourself. Meet people, create relationships. Don't just see people as money, and then come together and make something big happen.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's one thing you should do. If right now you're not where you want to be, why don't you lock arms with other people and collaborate together? There's a lot that you can do as a combined effort. So again, talking about target market here, what is your target market looking for? Get very clear on who you're targeting. Think about, what kind of interest they have. Are they married? Do they have kids? Are they, what are their fears? What are some of the things they look forward to? What do they do when they're not working? What do they do for work? What is your target market looking for? What are they looking to avoid? There's two things that you need to do in marketing is consider, people are either looking to avoid pain or gain pleasure, and the need to avoid pain is greater than gaining pleasure. So you want to consider that in, when you're looking for ways to market and ways to dominate the industry. And you guys, now that you know this information, you can definitely dominate this industry, because most people don't know even a fraction of what we've already shared with you. So you're now ready to dominate the industry. That's why I like the slide, because you can now take this information and just totally crush it, because you know how to stand out now. So again, how can you constantly stand out? Be thinking every day of ways that you can be creative and innovative. Do you have anything to add for that, Phil, before we
Perfectly put.
do the last slide?
Perfectly put. Stand out, use social media, put content out there, connect with a lot of people every day. Just never let you fall. Especially sets like a 30 to 90 day goal where every day you're going to do something that makes you stand out. And I promise you, you'll get some raving fans. You'll get some momentum in your business.
Absolutely, dude. 100%. So now that you've got the other principles together, what's important is scaling and leveraging your business. And this is important to, so let's say, for example, that you're out there and you do some active prospecting, and, you hit the jackpot, you strike gold, and, you make a few $1,000s, or you're able to make, some significant income, you make profit. And, so it's like, well, what do you do with the money? So once you quote unquote hit the jackpot, whatever that means for you, you want to expand quickly to keep the momentum going. And so you've got the leverage here on the right hand side. You need some forces, right? You need some armed forces to help you to push forward in your business. So 8-figure earner Mike Dillard, who, if you've ever heard of attraction marketing, he basically created that concept, where attraction marketing is where you get people coming to you, which is, we've basically been talking about how to do that. And he suggests to have minimum $500 per month, which is about £300, as a monthly marketing budget to invest it into ads and branding. What do you reckon about that, Phil? Do you reckon if they had $500 a month to market them, so do you reckon people would be able to build their business faster?
100%. I remember hearing this. I heard Bob Proctor say, he's a personal development coach. He knows a lot about marketing, but he's a personal development coach. But he said there's 2 ways to make money on this planet. There's number 1, people at work, or there's number 2, money at work. And this is exactly what Mike Dillard's talking about. You want to make sure you're working hard to get the results that you need, the money, actively prospecting. But when you make that money, go to work with your money. Get your money and start branding yourself, start putting money into tools, websites, etc., marketing, to really leverage yourself, so you've got double the efforts out there, if not 10 times the efforts out there, and you're still only putting that one element of effort with your physical work there, because you've started putting your pounds to work. What do you reckon, Seb?
Yeah, definitely. It's like your budget could be your army of people wanting to drive traffic to you. So what I mean by that is, if you've got a budget, then you're ahead of the curve. You're able to invest into Facebook advertisements like we mentioned earlier, so you can actually get people coming to you And it's a lot easier to do passive prospecting when you have a budget. It's very difficult to run a business without much of a budget anyway. But in my opinion, the guy with the biggest budget is going to win. They can, they can purchase traffic, they can get good branding, they can get their websites professional, they can invest in more training, they can go to events. You need a budget. And so, as soon as you hit the jackpot, you want to think about how you can reinvest as much of that money as possible. So, going back to Facebook. So Facebook's advertising platform, it allows you to get highly targeted leads and get an ad running fast. So using Facebook, you can actually target people based on their interests, based on their marriage, or, whether they're single, taken. You can actually target your ideal prospect. So that's something you want to think about. Who is your ideal prospect? And so using a platform such as Facebook, you can easily reach that person very quickly. As long as you have a budget, then Facebook is more than happy to bring you those kind of people and send you those people and say, here you go, here's some ideal prospects for your business. Wouldn't that be cool?
100%. And you know what, guys, you might not start out with this. Again, this is just a step. When you start getting traction, you're doing a lot of active prospecting first, you're getting good in your prospecting and selling ability, you're making money. You don't want to just blow that money. I made that mistake, guys. I made a lot of money in my early days in business, and I had nothing to show for it as soon as the income stopped, and I didn't scale and leverage. So you don't want to make the same mistakes. The reason me and Seb are sharing these now, because we've been there. We want you to learn from our mistakes. You know what I mean, Seb?
Most definitely. And so it's really about scaling and leveraging the right way to keep the momentum going. So another thing you can consider, which is something I literally thought of just before we did this webinar, I just had to put this in here because it's something Phil and I were talking about a product launch you want to do down the line, is consider so you can scale and leverage. So how about you do a product launch, but you also find affiliates to promote the product? So, let's say you pay 50% of the commissions to those affiliates, but let's say you have 100 affiliates promoting and selling your product. You don't have to do any work, and you're still making, okay, so you're giving away half the commissions, but they're doing all the work for you. So it's well worth it. It's worth their effort, and it's worth your effort to put together something like that. I mean, wouldn't you say that'd be super, leveraged for someone, Phil?
Definitely. And these people that are promoting your products, they're probably, they love your products, they love your content, and they've worked with you at some point, whether it's a mentor of yours or somebody that you've helped, they'd be happy to promote your product, especially if they're going to get paid to do it. And this doesn't have to be a long-term thing, for the rest of their life. It's just a one-time thing, but it enables you to leverage and scale your business very quickly.
Absolutely. It's about doing the work once and doing it well, and then reaping the benefits time and time again. You most likely heard the term residual income. Well, this is residual effort. You do the work once and you see results again and again. So this is about scaling and leveraging, is the fact that you still have to do the work, but an example is, let's say instead of you doing one-on-one presentations with people, let's say you record a very professional, good looking, high quality video where the one-on-one is in that video. You don't have to do one-on-ones all the time now. You just point people to that video. That's a way of leveraging your business. And so, they call them sales letters or video sales letters. That's like the online version of a presentation. So that's leverage, is having a video that does all this explaining and selling for you while you sit down the beach and drink pina coladas.
I love it. Absolutely love it, Seb.
No, awesome stuff. So I'm just going to finish off this is the last slide here that we've got. So those are the five ways that you can use these strategies to get to a 5-figure month. So your next steps now is, we highly recommend that you schedule a 20 to 30 minute strategy session valued at £47, easily more than that, via this link. You need to go to sebbrantigan.net/strategy session. And what we're going to do in this strategy session, we will recommend some high-level tips, share knowledge to improve your marketing dramatically within a very short period of time. But this is only for serious entrepreneurs. This is only for action takers. We don't want to share some information with you that is not going to be applied. And so the reason why we wanted to do these strategy sessions is we know that a lot of people are, they don't have mentors, they don't have the right information, they have the drive, they have the desire, they really want to succeed. They're doing this every single night, they're working every single night. So we know that they're committed, but they just need a slight tweak in order to get those results. Do you reckon you talk to a lot of people like that yourself, Phil?
100%. There's a lot of people out there that really want to make stuff happen, but they haven't got the guidance. And just underneath this webinar is a button should have appeared where you can book that session. But again, it's a survey. You're going to be required to put your details in, where you're at in your business, what you're doing, what level, whether it's full-time, part-time, and what we're going to do is select the people specifically that are heart-centered, because mine and Seb's time is valued high, and that's because the standards, again, going back, the standards we've set for ourselves. So we're going to be going through those applications, and already Seb, I can see people have started to fill in the application, which is great to see. So we're going to review those, and the reason we're going to review those is because, like Seb said, there's a lot of people that are tire kickers and time wasters and all that good stuff, which is not so good, sorry. But we don't want to be spending time with those people. So only serious people only, but we have got a few slots where we're going to speak to some people and really help you tweak your business. And a lot of people that are already working with us have taken this opportunity, and they've got some amazing results. So Seb, anything else you want to add on top of that?
I think that was all I had to share, really. So I know there was a lot of information to take in. We will be doing a replay if you weren't able to catch all of it, which I highly recommend you go through a few times, as this was quite fast paced, and there's probably a lot of new information that you might not have seen before. So all I can recommend now is, hopefully you've taken lots of notes. And so what you want to do is continue with the momentum like we suggested, and book yourself a strategy session where we're able to, literally figure out what it is that you're doing, pick apart your business and suggest some stuff that you can action immediately. We're going to suggest some practical things that as soon as you come off the phone call with us, you're going to be going, right, okay, I've got a clear plan of action. I know exactly what I'm doing. I know where I'm going. I know what my goals are. I know how to reach them. And that's our aim, really, is just to help out as much as possible with you and just point you in the right direction. Sometimes you're only slightly off. You might only be 1 or 2 degrees away from being on the right track. That's a cruise ship that is 1 or 2 degrees off from its desired location is not going to get there. And you might be the same in your business. You might be doing everything right, doing all the right steps, but just missing 1 or 2 key things. So we want to fill in those gaps and just share with you what it is that you might be, struggling with. And there's only so much you can achieve from, watching videos on YouTube. You can't really ask a video a question. I think you said that the other day, Phil, on on one of our webinars. But we're able to just, give you that, expertise on the phone live. So if you had any questions, then, throw them at us and we can just answer them. So that's the power of having a strategy session like this.
100%. It could be in any one of those areas. It could be your marketing, it could be your sales, it could be your mindset, and the reason we do this, is because we know there's a lot of people out there that are struggling, that just does need that bit of guidance. And again, it's always a pleasure. It just helps us fulfill our purpose. And it's just phenomenal to see. Already I've had a couple of messages on Facebook from existing people we're working with, Seb, going, can we book another strategy session? It's awesome. Absolutely love it. So the applications are coming in, guys. Take advantage. It'd be a pleasure, because we really do appreciate your time. You've spent a lot of time with us. Time isn't worth more than money, because we can't get that back. Money's printed every day. You just got to find a way to get it. And we want to give you guys a bit back on top of this, more specific to yourself. So, you know, we've got the applications coming in, which is great to see. You may have already done that, and the guy that's actually messaged me already that saying, "Can I book another one?" He's just sent me a laughing face, Seb. But it's awesome. It's awesome. So, Seb, have you got anything else you want to add before we close this?
Sweet. No, that was it. I was just, conscious of time. I know we've been on here for, I think, over an hour, but
Yeah.
I'm certain that you guys have got some great value. We've really shared some powerful things tonight that I know are going to change a lot of your businesses, if you apply them consistently. And that's what's happened for us, at least. We're just sharing with you just the meat and potatoes of what we've done to get results now where, our businesses our businesses work around us, and that's, we have that flexibility, that freedom that people, fight for, which is really cool. We just want to help other people get there too.
Yeah, 100%, Seb, 100%. No, a pleasure, my man, as always. Love spending the time sharing value with you. So I appreciate it, my man.
Sure thing. Well, thank you guys so much for attending. Again, book yourself on a strategy session today. It's sebbrantigan.net/strategy session. And once you're booked onto it, all you do is just fill in a form, like Phil said. Take you 10 minutes max, maybe less. And one of us give you a call and set up a time to talk and just figure out what you need to do to get you to where you need to be. So we're really looking forward to doing that, and we appreciate your time tonight on the webinar here.
Awesome, Seb. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you again real soon.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Bye.